Ted, do you believe you have a soul?
What did you think I would do at this moment when you're standing before me with tears in your eyes? That answer your question?
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Fanzone Debate. We're here for an exciting one. It's a contender match. We got Adelaide Spence going up against Javi Madan, both having good seasons, both good at this, despite what Javi might say. Adelaide played a lot early in the season, has kind of been waiting in the corner to find out who their opponent was going to be, and it's Javi. But Adelaide, they played Richard. That was a very good match. And then they played Brooklyn, also a very good match. And now they've just kind of been waiting. Javi just beat Chadwick, who I think is one of the best players right now. So Javi really cemented himself with that one. I'm looking forward to this. Kirk, how are you doing, my friend? And what do you think of this matchup, Spence v. Javi?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very much. Yeah, big win I think that's like a signature win for Javi here, taking out Chadwick. I think Chadwick is like one of the better players who's come up in the past season or so. Really shown a lot of improvement. So for Javi to take him out is a big feather in his cap. And Spence is somebody who's been working really hard to improve their game, and they have. And I think they've earned their spot here as well. Two fighters, we were talking about this off camera, who both kind of subjective-minded people, and it's always interesting to watch people who think that way and try to turn that into an objective argument. So very curious to see how the battle goes down tonight.
Absolutely. Jack, welcome. I appreciate you being here, filling in. Jack, what do you think about this? You know these players, you know kind of their style, but also just kind of like outside of the game, how they are with movies and stuff. So what's your take on how this is going to go today?
I am very intrigued on how this is going to go. Both these players are very good at what they do here. Javi, in spite of whatever he says about his abilities, is actually a very good debater. He's made it to a contender match, which a lot of people can't say. Adelaide is a fantastic debater that has had some shit luck. I think that's twice they've had to play Jacoby Bancroft in the first round of a tournament, which is never easy, an easy opponent. So yeah, no, I think they both earned their way here, deserve to be here. I'm very excited to see who goes on to play for the title. Honestly, either way, they've earned it.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, let's get into it. It's going to work like this. So the players drafted categories. We gave them questions based on those categories. They are going to debate those questions tonight before our very souls. So each of them is going to get a 1-minute opening, followed by a 5-minute freeform, followed by a 1-minute closing. At the end of the debate, Kirk, Jack, and I will write on our boards who we thought won the debate. 2 out of 3 votes will win you a point. First player to hit 3 points will win the match. Adelaide, Javi, anything you want to say to each other before we get into this?
No self-deprecating allowed in this match. Be confident in yourself.
I'm really good at this.
Yeah.
Great. All right, we're going to kick this off with the first category. It was drafted by Adelaide in the category of mystery thriller. First question: who is the best lead character in an erotic thriller? Javi's favorite subgenre of film. Adelaide, you get 1 minute to open your argument when you start talking.
On top of being one of the best movies of all time, I think that Gone Girl created one of the best characters in any movie ever with Amy Dunn. I think that it very thoroughly realizes who she is from childhood into adulthood. And I think that she really utilizes the genre of erotic thrillers as well. We haven't discussed it on the channel before, but I think the way that she uses her sexuality with her ex-boyfriends, or even like, I think one of the most pivotal monologues, one of my favorite monologues in film history, the cool girl monologue, after you first realize that she is alive and has escaped Nick's marriage and is being herself, is talking about how his perception of her as a sexual object more than a person she doesn't want that to define her. And yet she continues to utilize her body and her incredible brain and sociopathy in her manipulation of Desi and these long sequences of traps that she lays for Nick to ultimately get what she wants. She has tricked everyone around her and is the smartest person in her world. She's brilliant and it's fantastic.
Okay. We're going to go over to Javi. Javi, you have 1 minute when you start talking.
Tom Ripley from The Talented Mr. Ripley is a fascinating character for a number of reasons. One is that he's not the character at the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie. And that might be on purpose, like that might be a purposeful thing from him. You start off by meeting him and he's just like a guy wearing a Princeton jacket and like it's like, oh, you know my son? Oh, he went to Princeton. You want to meet him? And he's like, all of a sudden he's thrust in this world of like high living in Italy and Europe and he just loves it. And he realizes that he can't ever have it unless he's perpetually friends with Dickie Greenleaf. And then Dickie Greenleaf obviously meets his end due to Tom because Tom ends up going wild and accidentally kills him. To the point where he now has to fully embrace this character of like, you know what, maybe I can take over the identity of Dickie Greenleaf, which is such an interesting character because you start off rooting for him, but then you're sort of like, this guy might be off his rocker.
All right. We will get started now with the 5-minute free form. I will throw up the 1 minute warning when the time comes. If you're talking too much, I'll throw up the let your opponent talk. Don't make me do that. Makes me sad. 5 minutes when one of you starts talking.
Can I just say, I think we chose really great picks. I don't know if you want to agree or like. Really...
I feel like you made like a caveat pick. Like I think it like if we're going by like IMDb qualifications, like it's under erotic thriller, but I don't think, especially like with Tom Ripley as the main character, it doesn't really utilize the genre very well. I think that he's kind of like, he's obviously not asexual because there is a lot of that homoerotic undertones with Dickie, and then as well as like kind of given back to him with Philip Seymour Hoffman's character, but he's not the most like interesting lead character, not invested in it for him. He's basically the audience surrogate and also a little unhinged. You're much more interested in the supporting cast and the way that he sees them, how we as the audience see them. You're not engaged in it because of Ripley himself.
I would disagree with that just because, yeah, I know what you're saying where it's like, well, technically it's an erotic thriller, but he's not even the most...
It's acceptable. I'm not going to like nitpick.
Yeah. Second of all, like, yeah, he's like the audience focal point. Like, he's the audience for a bit, but then it swiftly changes on a dime. Like, that's what makes him super interesting is like, at first you're like, wow, like, yeah, Ripley, let's go. This guy's awesome. And then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, my gosh, he's way too in. Like, he's too deep in. Like, this is crazy. So like, it immediately subverts the idea of like, this is he's the audience, he's you, because it just automatically is like, whoa, this guy, like, is he gonna get caught? Like, I don't really want him to get away with this because he's such a dark character. But also at the same time, like, he's Matt Damon and you've known him for that long, and he is the audience focal point. So it's like the interesting and great thing about that character is that it divides you. Whereas I think like Amy Dunn is sort of like, people are like, yeah, all right, pretty good. We agree, like, for sure. Like, yeah, her boyfriend sucks, so like, yeah, go off, I guess.
You're so like underselling the character. I think I do want to focus on like, I think the reason that her character is so well written is if we're looking at, like, to me, I think like as someone who used to act a little bit, I think breaking down like the motivation for the character, I think that it's so perfectly set up with her parents and like the history of like the Amazing Amy idea and this like idealization of like, oh yeah, Amy, you're super cool, but there's this better version that we want you to be. And every time that actual Amy is like kind of subpar, Amazing Amy is like the best fucking person ever and is like funding her parents' success and their lifestyles without her actually doing anything. And the exact same thing happens with Nick. Nick loves the idealized version of her, the cool girl that she feels like she has to fulfill, and then finally just snaps. And that whole arc is interesting. And you've just admitted yourself that Ripley is only interesting in the latter half of the movie when he has to like improvise and like try and figure out what's going on. Whereas Amy, I think you get the best of both. Like she is meticulously planning her like staged suicide and murder until she has to like freestyle after she's caught with all the money and has to go to Desi's house. You get the best of everything that Ripley is just kind of like surface level with.
Maybe you just misunderstand my point. It's not the fact that he's interesting in the second half, but he's boring in the first half. It's the fact that they're completely different characters from at the start and at the end. Not because it's like written poorly. It's because there's an intentional turn of like, oh my gosh, this guy's actually for real off his rocker, and we don't really know what's going on with him. Whereas Amy, it's like, yeah, look, I see your point, and I don't think you're wrong per se, but I just think it's pretty like, I don't know. I can't even really describe it. Not superficial. That's not the right word, because that is a disrespect to Amy. But like, there's something there that just like, yeah, like it's the femme fatale. It's like you know what I'm saying?
I think superficial is a good way to describe it, because that's the intent of the character. It is putting on a performance. It's
Right.
why when we cut to her driving on the freeway and it's like Nick never loved me, and you get the whole speech and the reveal of it, is the fact that we have seen her putting on this facade. And it's, again, it goes to Rosamund Pike's incredible performance, that she's able to so fluidly go into the fake version of her, into the real version of her, into like the scared version of her that she didn't know she had, because she's always been in such control. I also think that that's a big downplay. That's a big downside to Ripley as the lead, as he's carried by Matt Damon, who I think this character is like too far out of reach for him. That kind of like earnestness, and as well as like the eroticism and the fear, really is out of touch for him. He plays stoic a lot better. It's like Andrew Scott in like the Netflix series adaptation of it is so much better and so much better fit for this. He is just so like uncomfortable and like not what you need for a lead in this movie.
I just disagree fundamentally. I think he plays both sides like super well.
Okay, Javi, we're going to start with you for closings. You have 1 minute when you start talking.
I know Spence said Rosamund Pike's Amy Dunn is superficial, and that's the point. But like, I think ultimately, like, we get one like kind of, yeah, she's dynamic in some ways, but like ultimately, like, I don't know, the superficialness kind of just sticks with her. I feel like, listen, I'm not trying to disregard, but it's just what it is. That's how I feel about it. I think Ripley has a really dynamic of like, because you're put into the like, oh, this guy's the hero. We love this guy. We want him to succeed. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, this guy's actually for real. Like he's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, man. Like we can't root for this guy at all. Like he's killing everybody. He's lying to everyone. He's stealing identities. Like he'll do anything to just keep the lifestyle that he's had these last couple months in Europe, just because it's the underdog story. It's from rags to riches, and we want to root for that. But at the same time, we realize, oh, frick, like this has gone way too far, and we can't. Yeah.
Okay, let's go over to Spence. You have 1 minute when you start talking.
Amy Dunn kind of positions herself as this like modern version of the femme fatale. It is no longer just, oh, I am hot and I also kill people. There is nuance to her. There is thought behind all of her thoughts. From staging her fake murder and like literally preparing her own blood, then she can dump it on the floor and then like sloppily clean it, to befriending her neighbor, to at the end of it when Nick thinks he's won, artificially inseminating herself. There's such a rich character going on there. Tom Ripley is not that rich of a character. He is somebody who simply enjoys the free shit and then accidentally kills some people. And he never really wants to. I think the lack of intent sort of betrays the character and the genre that he's in. This would fit much better like a very broad, like Better Off Dead kind of like dark comedy, as it is in the idea of an erotic thriller. Amy Dunn fulfills everything you want. She is smart, she is conniving, and she uses sex to get what she wants. Also, Rosamund Pike deserves a fucking Oscar. She was amazing.
All right. Gonna bring in the Judgeritos.
I did better than I thought I would. Not that but I remember being like, this one's the bad one. This is fun. I'm having fun.
Good. All right. Yeah, I thought this was a good first fight. I've actually never seen the talented Mr. Ripley, so
Ooh.
I don't know.
It's pretty good.
I've heard good things, but I don't know much about it. But I thought Javi did a really good job of kind of explaining the character to me.
Didn't mean to spoil it. Sorry.
No, you're good. I mean, that's fine. And I do feel like Spence relied a lot on the erotic thriller part of it because, yes, that's the caveat of the type of movie. But at the end of the day, I needed what is the best character. I still went with Adelaide. I think that they, despite that, they gave me that Amy Dunn is a very good character, a femme fatale for the modern age, if you will. I really liked Spence's closing, talking about, like all the stuff about like, artificially inseminating and then the spilling the blood on the floor and sloppily cleaning it. Just like those little things that like she does that make her like super interesting and cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs was really, really cool. So I liked that a lot. And so I went with Spence. Kirk, your thoughts?
Two surprisingly mainstream picks. When we got the category, I thought for sure we were going to go like Bill Carriola Skinamax territory here. So, good job or bad job, depending on who the viewer is, I guess. Yeah, I thought this was going to be a lot more one-sided. It was a lot tighter than I thought it was going to be. But I also went with Spence. I think Spence just gave us a little bit more detail. I was hearing more specifics of the things that made Amy a great character. Javi hit the kind of like that subversion of the rags to riches story, and I like that. I wanted to follow that a little bit more. If he could have maybe give me some more attacks on Amy. I think he was too respectful to Amy. I think he gave her he needed to be a little more, had a little more killer instinct there, go after her. But maybe it would have been closer. But I think Spence did a good job of bringing up, like I said, details of what made Amy, comparing the performances and how Rosamund Pike was just kind of more suited to that role. Just gave me a lot more details, so I ended up going with Spence.
Okay, Jack, your vote doesn't count. Where would you have gone and why?
Yeah, I thought this was also a really good debate. Javi had one point where he took one of Adelaide's arguments and shifted how it was being presented, and I thought that was a really strong move. At the end of the day, though, Adelaide was just hitting on every point that I thought they had to win this. They took one of Javi's knocks against their character in the superficial jab and made that a strength in their argument. I thought that, so I went with Spence. Adelaide, I thought, did this really well. Javi also did quite well for this one, but I thought Adelaide was just better for this question.
Okay, sounds good. Adelaide is up 1-0 as we get into the next question, drafted by Javi in the category of action adventure. And the question is, which Roger Moore James Bond film has the best opening scene? Javi, you're kicking this off. You have 1 minute when you start talking.
Opening scenes in James Bond films are tricky because of the fact that it's basically just a cold open. It doesn't really have anything to do with the actual movie. That said, The Spy Who Loved Me has a lot of things going for it. One, it's got classic Bond moments like going skiing, killing bad guys, betting a woman right beforehand, what have you. On the other side of it, you also have the fact that it's like, well, this one's actually one of the few cold opens in like the old era where it actually does feed into the actual movie. He kills Sergei being Agent Triple X's boyfriend, lover, whatever, who he later has to work with in the movie. And then they find out like it just becomes like this weird like tension between them. So like the beginning of the movie, the cold open, if you will, like really takes the movie into the direction that the movie has to go in, as opposed to like any other one in this old area where they just don't.
Okay, let's go over to Adelaide. You have 1 minute when you start talking.
when I'm watching an action movie, you know, I'm being drawn to the action. So I think I picked the scene with the best action, and that would be For Your Eyes Only. As well as like we get a very good character introduction scene about like really solidifying the idea of James Bond visiting his former wife's grave and sharing an intimate moment with him. And immediately after, we get one of the best action scenes of pre-Craig Bond as a man who is not Blofeld remotely kills Bond's helicopter pilot. So he needs to climb on the outside of a helicopter, fucking Tom Cruise style, and find a way to pilot the helicopter from the outside, as well as when he gets to that state, pick up not Blofeld and interrogate him and beat the fuck out of him before dropping him in a nuclear silo. That is sick as hell. I didn't think they could do this in the 1970s, and by God, Roger Moore somehow did it. This is genuinely riveting and a high point for an era of Bond that is frankly kind of shitty and boring.
All right. 5 minutes when one of you starts talking.
This is not the era of Bond where it's shitty and boring. This one's like just kind of goofy kind of stuff, which is actually kind of a problem that I have with yours is like, it feels like it's Inspector Gadget because it's like Blofeld, who's not Blofeld because they didn't have the rights, is just like doing the claw thing where he's just like, oh, Mr. Bond, you can't see my face, but whatever. And then it's just like, I don't think the action looks believable at all. I think it looks pretty freaking fake. That's one big problem of it. It feels like a weird 80s cartoon, and I just can't shake that feeling. Like I get like maybe that you're saying like, oh, the action, but it's like it's way too goofy, even for Roger Moore standards.
I think that's incredibly incorrect. Like again, it is Mission Impossible type stuff. It looked really good. It looks believable. When I compare it to what Tom Cruise is doing, it's because I can't fucking tell if that's a stunt man. I can't tell if it's on a soundstage. It looks that good. Your scene has old ass Roger Moore, who can't really keep up with it anymore, on a green screen anytime you see his face, a really shitty green screen, mind you, pretending to ski. And you said in your opening statement, oh yeah, it's like classic Bond, because he skis in so many fucking movies. If you're in fandom, it's like, oh, what is Bond doing? Answer is probably fucking skiing or laying pipe. That's it. It is repetitive, and this doesn't bring anything new. It is Bond and anonymous henchmen skiing down a big white mountain. But there's no the continuity is so hard to follow because it just repeats the same thing over and over and over until, oh, I guess we're done. It's boring.
No, but that's where you're wrong because you're saying like anonymous henchmen. It's literally not. It's like a person who's like important.
Oh, there's one guy and his fucking 5 sidekicks. So they're all masked. You can't tell who's who.
Right. But the point is like, it's a big reveal later being like, oh, you killed that person. So like, again, if you were like, oh my gosh, like turns out that guy who pulled Bond away from Tracy's grave or whatever was super important later in the plot. Fine, whatever, I guess. But it's just not like it has nothing. Yours has nothing to do with the overall thing of your movie. Whereas mine is like, that is the main point of the movie. It's like why the two of them don't get along after a while is because like, oh, frick, you killed you killed Sergei. Like, that's really important. Like, and I know you're saying like, well, he does it in every movie. It's like, it frankly hasn't looked better. I know you're saying like, oh, it's in a green screen. All of it's in a green screen. That's the problem with like Roger Moore Bond stuff. But like the stunts are real. Like the skiing, the jumping, the parachuting, that is real. That is for real done by like a guy named like Richard Sylvester or something, which is like incredible.
Nerd.
Whereas yours, what's up?
Fucking nerd.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it just, I don't know. It just doesn't work. Like yours doesn't work because it just feels like like not even joking, Dr. Claw from Inspector Gadget. Every time I see it, it's just like you could basically hear him say like "curse you, Bond" at the end. Like it's that like.
Oh, it's God forbid James Bond is a little goofy, but at the same time, I think if we're talking about like, oh, fucking Richard Benjamin, whatever your guy's name was, if we're saying like, oh, what's the more interesting stunt to watch? Is it, ooh, do you want to ski downhill and occasionally like turn around? Or do you want to literally hijack a helicopter from the outside? That is interesting. You're arguing that your scene is like, oh, it's more narratively important. It's not like, oh, what sets up the story the best? It's what's the best scene. If we're just looking at it straight up, mine has emotional investment that yours requires watching the rest of your shitty ass movie for. Mine locks you in, oh shit, his wife is dead. Oh shit, a helicopter's gonna fucking crash. And you don't need to know that it's Blofeld. You need to, some villain is working his ass off to remotely kill Bond through like some like electronic like noise wave shit in his earphones. Yes, it's goofy. James Bond is goofy. He's got some fuck ass watches in every other movie. That's part of the fun. Yours is boring. Mine at least leans into it and accepts that while also being sick as fuck.
Well, okay, if you're gonna say like, well, yours isn't goofy, like that's not true because like it's interesting and it's serious enough, but then at the end he like parachutes on a Union Jack parachute, which is like the most Bond thing. That's like something straight out of Austin Powers, but yours is straight up out of something like from Phineas and Ferb, where he just goes like "Curse you, Perry the Platypus" at the very end. Like it's truly like bizarre and stupid to the point where it's just nothing. And I know what you're saying, like, well, it's just the best scene. It's the best opening scene to a film. And that's what's interesting about mine is like it has to do with the rest of the film. I know you're saying like, well, what's the best scene? Like, what's the best scene? Like, it's not what's the best action or what's the most like different from all the other Bond movies. It's what's the best scene. And mine's the best because it literally connects that to the rest of the movie. Something that genuinely isn't done until like the second Brosnan, maybe the third Brosnan movie, where they just like it's not connected.
Okay. We're going to start closings with Adelaide. You have 1 minute when you start talking.
I think that is incredibly reductive to say that this absolutely plays nothing into the emotion of the later overall film. I think getting context for Bond's emotional state with a dead wife is very important. While on top of that, Javi is attempting to argue that his has the best setup for the rest of the movie. That is not the question. It's what's the best scene. It happens to be the opening, but it's not about like, oh, how does it lean into the plot later? How does it set up the shitty Bond plot that happens in every other of the 24 movies? What is the best scene? And that's what my pick does. He is hijacking a helicopter. You have incredible stakes. You have incredible stunts that are very realistic. You believe that you're there. It doesn't matter. You can't, that is like maybe not Roger Moore. You don't see his face. I'm not out of the realm of disbelief. His scene actively has really terrible green screen just so you can get away with really mediocre stunts, mediocre violence, and that the actual set of the emotional involvement that you require for the characters requires a rewatch because it sets it up later. In the moment, you're like, oh, these are just some random fuck ass dudes. You don't care. Also, If You're to Kill does the exact same scene better.
Okay. Let's go over to Javi. Javi, you have 1 minute when you start talking.
A View to a Kill has never done anything better than any other Bond film. Listen, if you like just a guy going like, oh, Mr. Bond, I have you now. Ooh, oh, you got me, Bond. Like, gosh darn it. All right, well, I'll get you next time, Bond. Then yeah, you got Spence's scene. Good job. If you want something that like actually goes into the plot, establishes who Bond is as like the guy who's always with the women, the guy who's like mercilessly killing people, the guy who's kind of a prick, an elite athlete, the goofiness because of like the Union Jack parachute, then you're going to want to go with The Spy Who Loved Me. Because here's the thing. I know you're saying like, oh, it's basic, he goes skiing, whatever. That's irrelevant. It's never been done better than in this one because the stunts are real, you feel it, and the emotional payoff of later scenes is what makes this scene truly one of a kind.
All right. Let's bring in the judges.
I'm leaning forward too much. It's bad for my back. I'm going to turn off my camera too. I'm just kidding.
But I have to pee. God.
Kirk, you good?
You're muted, but
Jack, are you good? You look like you might have still been thinking.
I need a minute.
You're good.
Sorry.
you need a whole minute, Jack. Gosh dang. Neither of our lines are that long.
Jackie's bullying you. Vote for me.
Jack, I'm bullying you. You got to respect that. Vote for me.
Fuck both of you.
All right. We're gonna start with Jack.
Oh, fun. Yeah, so this was a fantastic debate, I thought. I'm I think both debaters had really effective attacks on the other, and both honestly it for me, like both their defenses were pretty comparable to me, so it comes down to whose hits I think landed a little bit better. And uh for me, I that was Adelaide. I thought they had a lot of really great hits on the action feeling repetitive. I the opening scene is something that is I wasn't totally sure on like how much of that to factor in, but it I thought that Adelaide combated it really well, and while yes, saying that their scene is goofy as hell, that's what's fun about these Bond movies, and the action just feeling a lot more intense and looking a lot better. So I thought Adelaide did really well. I thought Javi did really well. This is about as 51-49 as it gets for me right now. But yeah, so tell me why I'm an idiot and why Javi was better.
They're not going to say that. Trust me.
I mean, I did think Javi was better, but I don't think you're too far off. Like, I think it was a 51-49 for me too. I think Spence did a really great job, but ultimately I just leaned the other way, where I thought that Javi's take on less, like, I liked what he had to say about the whole opening scene thing, but it was kind of the same as the erotic thriller part of it. Like, I was looking for the better scene, but I liked how he kind of contextualized it as, you know, this scene leads into the rest of the movie. But at the end of the day, he said it towards the beginning of his fight, and he said it at the end. And I liked just you get everything Bond here. Like, you get the goofy stunts, you get an epic ski chase, you get it leading into the movie, you get the violence, you get the womanizing, like, you get all that. And it just, so for me, that just kind of tipped it over the edge. But yeah, I thought Adelaide did a great job too. So if Kirk votes either way, I wouldn't be surprised. So Kirk, where are you at?
Yeah, so full disclosure, I personally believe that Adelaide's scene is one of the low points of the franchise.
Dang.
But
we're going to do the turn.
I did need Adelaide, or I needed Javi to do the work there, obviously, for me. I couldn't just base it on my opinion. And I think he did.
Oh.
I think Javi gave me enough that, I mean, the only thing he didn't do, the only shall I take it his debate, is he really explained how dumb Adelaide's scene is. Like, he took it easy. And I think Javi did a really good job, like Tim said, of saying, like, hey, you get a bunch of Bond stuff here. And like, you know, if you like Bond, you know, the stuff that Bond does, it's all here. I think that I've watched both these movies multiple times, so I'm pretty familiar with both scenes. And I think that Adelaide downplayed the how good the stunts are in Javi's scene. I think he tried to downplay a lot of it, but I think that Javi did a really good job of just building his up. And Adelaide also tried to downplay the whole opening scene. You know, it's just a scene that's happened to be the opening. I went with leaning a little more with Javi, where yeah, it's this opening scene, but it's also, you know, it's a scene in the movie that affects the movie. So I lean towards Javi on that part of the argument as well. So.
All right. That means we are tied up, and we are moving on to the next question, which was drafted by Adelaide. Yeah, Adelaide. Categories horror. The question is, which pre-1970s horror film should get a remake? Adelaide, we're going to start with you. You have 1 minute when you start talking.
1945, is a picture of Dorian Gray, is a very pallid, bland, and boring adaptation of one of the greatest novels of the 19th century. Beyond the fact that it is deeply discrediting and undervaluing this masterwork piece of literature, The actual final manuscript of Oscar Wilde's piece did not come out until 2011. And since then, no one has attempted to take the original work and elevate it onto film. I think that if we're looking at why movies deserve to be remade, it really comes down to, I don't think that the idea, the source material, or even the script itself were done as well as it should be. If you give that original core concept about a man who basically sells his soul to be forever young and is then corrupted by the idea of eternal youth, being valued for his beauty and destroying everyone who doesn't give him what he wants, that is an incredible concept. It is Faustian, and we need that. Reunite Jacob Elordi and Guillermo del Toro, and you will have a masterpiece on your hands.
Okay. All right. Sorry. I got perked up there at the sound of a lordy. Anyway, all right. Javi, 1 minute when you start talking to open your argument.
1966's Seconds is probably one of the movies that has the most amount of potential, but unfortunately just falls flat due to the fact that it's just set. It can't be, it was ahead of its time. It couldn't be done in that time properly. It follows a man who, I'm going to spoil the story because no one's really heard of it. It follows this man who is a banker, like kind of old. He's getting older, and he's like kind of lost his fling for his wife. He's like not really communicating with his family. He just wants kind of a second shot at life. So what he does is he goes to a company who basically like gives him a new body, and basically he becomes Rock Hudson, and he follows his new life as an artist. But as the movie goes on, you find out, okay, the company that gave him this new life basically is in control of all of it, and like he can't do anything really, and like it's a bunch of paranoia of like who is the company, like am I talking to a member of the company, who am I? So it's, you can go body horror with it, you can also go paranoia, you can go all sorts of ways.
All right, we are gonna start. I thought you had a question. I was like, yeah.
No.
All right, 5 minute free for.
I think the idea that you are saying, oh, this couldn't be done and it's ahead of its time, is the exact reason why it shouldn't be remade. You are saying why it is a great movie as it currently exists. What you watched, you're like, wow, this is really amazing that they got away with it in 1966. So yeah, let me do like a very bland version of it in 2026, where it's what we expect, what we think we can get from all these other movies. As a relic of its time, it's fascinating. It's fantastic. Why do you want to sully that with a bland fucking Blumhouse remake?
Because it's frankly not that fantastic. The story is interesting, but they don't do anything really crazy with it. The problem with it, here's the thing. The movie's not actually that scary. It's like kind of paranoia-y, but like in terms of like horror, it's not very good horror. I think nowadays you could definitely do a horror type thing. You can take it more body horror, like The Substance, or like Suitable Flesh, or Together, or whatever all those movies are. You can make it as its own, like, we're in the peak moment of like, we can do body horror well now, and we can do it crazy, and we can go wild with it. We can go like, yeah, it's Richard Jenkins, but now he's like Ryan Gosling or whatever. And it's not, it just takes it in a completely different way. And you can talk about the horror of like leaving your family behind.
Okay, you're back.
Okay. Oh, yes. Sorry.
Okay, I think wanting to make it a body horror film actively is discrediting and ignoring the film that you already have. It is fundamentally undermining the point of the story. He is literally a dude who looks exactly like a normal person. There's no body horror there. It's perfect cosmetic surgery, and there is no consequences to that. There is no like the skin unpeeling, or you see like half of him. That's not the point of the movie. You're asking for a different movie. Mine, I think, is a much more interesting film. I will say as well, just like a personal thing, I don't really get a lot of like Faustian characters in film. It's kind of been abandoned. I want to go back to that as like an actual great, like good core concept of character. But I think nowadays, the idea of Dorian Gray, a man who is so obsessed with his own looks that everyone around him is seen as lesser, even though he pines after women just to have them feed his ego so he can manipulate them into loving him without actually loving them back. There is so much to say there, as well as, like I said, Guillermo del Toro taking it. We saw what he did with Frankenstein. The idea of capturing late 19th century England and then leaning into the seedy nature of masculinity at that time is so rich and so interesting. You want to modernize a movie that doesn't utilize its modern time period.
I think the problem that you have is you're saying, like, why can't it be more like the book? Just read the book. The book's way better than the movie, so just read that. It's when everyone's like, oh, well, this movie is not very good, so like they should make a more proper, like they're different mediums. You have to adapt.
So you want to remake a movie that's already a good movie? It's
No,
the exact same shit,
that's
but
my
film is a
point.
more
It's not,
interesting
it's
medium.
not a good movie. Ultimately, it's just
It
not
is,
a good
though.
movie. It is not a good movie because of the fact that they're just it's super like trapped under like, well, I'm Rock Hudson now or whatever. So like, and that's the scary thing, is that he's just a different guy now. Like, I think you can do the peeling away of the skin. I think you can't, like, maybe it's the fact that it's like he's not in control of his life. So when he tries running away, do they like turn on something in like whatever that he like starts aging and now his like face is peeling off again? Like, we don't know. That's the beauty about my thing, is like it can be kind of anything. You're restricting it to the book. You're restricting it to, hey, what if it's just the book again? And you're like, all right, I can just read the book. The book's great. I'm not just liking the book. The problem is that it's just exactly, it is just, you're saying make it to the book, whereas I'm saying like, we got to evolve this somehow, because if it doesn't evolve, we have a problem. We're not getting anywhere with this.
On a backtrack, you said that like, oh, seconds is bad. You are like drastically incorrect in terms of like the general statistics. It is top 500 rated for Letterboxd. Literally, Matthew has it at 4, Payson has it at 4, John, Tom have it at 5. Like, people love this movie. I really like this movie. I think that you are just blatantly saying, oh, it's bad to try and gain points. It is a good movie. There are great elements of it, including Rock Hudson's performance, that I don't want to lose. When you are saying, let's just read the fucking book, the idea of Dorian Gray is so incredibly filmic. The idea of the character, while he remains ageless, the painting is what ages. As you see the rotting and decrepitation of his soul, you see it in a painting. No words can convey how horrific that imagery can be, as his soul is literally rotting before he kills himself by stabbing the painting. Imagine how fucked up. It goes like a fucking clicker from The Last of Us. Like, you cannot convey that in words. The idea of it as a film is what's engaging. Yours as a film is great as it is and does not need to be evolved.
All right, we're going to start closings with Javi. Javi, you have 1 minute when you start talking.
I don't believe I said it's a bad movie. Maybe I did, and if I did, I apologize, because it's not a bad movie. I think it has a lot of problems in the movie that can be fixed in a remake. You're not losing Rock Hudson if you make another movie. You're just not. You're not saying like, oh, what if you could just redo it entirely and like we're not saying that. We're saying it's basically a reboot. It's a remake. How can you do it again, but better? How can you evolve the things? Again, body horror is super interesting right now. You can go like The Substance, obviously, but Clayface, like, it's just, we can just keep going with this. The problem that Spence is pitching is, what if we could just do the book, which is like fine if you want to just be like a great adaptation, but the book's not ultimately that scary, which is a problem with horror. Like, if you're saying like, how do we make this? How do we remake a horror movie? Well, how about we just don't make it super scary? It's like, okay, well. Whereas mine can have a lot of De Palma like paranoia, it could have a lot of like The Substance type like body horror, The Fly. It could be a ton of different things that's still the same story.
Okay, let's go over to Adelaide. Adelaide, you have 1 minute when you start talking.
I want to make it clear, as someone who has watched Seconds today, as someone who has just watched it, what Javi is pitching you is not Seconds. He does not want to give you the same movie again, because there is no element of body horror that can be done with it. He said that it can't be done today because it is so incredibly of its time and timely and fascinating. You should not remake it. You should respect it and rewatch it for what it is. The idea of The Picture of Dorian Gray, yes, it's an incredible novel that deserves a true adaptation. And once again, there has never been an adaptation of the actual real novel itself. We did not get it until 15 years ago, and no film or any adaptation has been made since. That is so interesting. There's so much more to unravel. On top of that, the 45 film actually does add something to the original text. It adds a secondary romance after Dorian's first wife kills herself, which is a whole other thing I couldn't get into. And like, the actual development of that romance is interesting. I would love to see Guillermo del Toro, Jacob Elordi, like, lean into that and develop that more. That is so rich. Like, the costumes, the horror, so much is going on there that I want to see on screen.
Okay. This was good. I like this.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome, man.
Can I just say I'm still having a good time. This is fun.
I am known for riling up my opponents. I'm glad that it is an infectious state.
I'm easily riled up though. That's the problem with me. You should have seen my Chadwick match. I'm just like, I don't know if you're understanding my point. So like, let me break it down.
Oh, dude, I watched it. You locked in, and I was like, oh, this is great. This is so much fun.
Yeah. Jack, you're still thinking?
I'm just writing.
Okay. Well then, Kirk, go ahead. Whenever you're ready.
Both good movies, good concepts to pick for remakes. I think I like the more than the movies themselves. I like that they picked good concepts that and had different ideas of how to bring that together to a modern audience. Ultimately, I went with Spence because I just think we got more from them about really got in detail about what about the movie and the story could work. Javi again, he gave us, he hit towards the end, about like the De Palma and the stuff like that, different options, and started talking about different things, but got really stuck in body horror, I think, to his detriment. And I was really interested in the idea that this is a that the actual novel hasn't been done yet. And Javi didn't have a lot of attacks on Dorian Gray. I think his big attack was just read the book, and Spence came back with, well, here's why it specifically needs to be a movie, which I think was really good. So it bums me out though. I mean, Second's a great movie. Does anybody hate that it's top 500 now on Letterboxd? Like, it's just so much less special. Like, Seconds is a good movie. It should not be recognized in the upper pantheon.
Number 486, baby.
That's what I'm talking about. See, I hate that. But anyway, I guess that's my vote.
Jack.
Yeah, this was another outstanding debate. It came down to the closings for me, and Javi had me for the majority of the closings until Adelaide brought in the point of the 45 movie does something different from the book, and that's something you can grow in the sequel and not sequel, in the remake, and something that that you can add that's not from the book, and how the painting being the thing that ages, how that the horror of that can never properly be conveyed with words, and is something you need film for. So I went with Spence, former LA King. There was an LA King whose last name was Spence, Adelaide.
Okay, I was like, I don't know what that's trying to say.
No, I didn't understand either. Anyway,
I'm tired.
My vote doesn't count. I actually went with Javi. I haven't seen either movie. I didn't know anything. I mean, I've heard of the name of the Dorian Gray movie, but I actually had never heard of Javi's movie until he put it in the chat. And both movies sound interesting. Both sound like something like they both convinced me that there's could use a remake. I was just a little more convinced on Javi's whole like De Palma body horror paranoia movie. Like, it just sounded like a cooler movie to me that I would like to see. So I went with Javi, but my vote doesn't count. Adelaide's up 2-1, and we are moving on to the final prep question. This should be interesting. We're talking about animation. Question is, which character from a Disney Pixar film set in a Spanish-speaking country would you want to live with? Wow. All right. Javi, 1 minute when you start talking.
Now I know what you're thinking. Javi, what human type character would you possibly want to live with? What animal even? No, you want to live with the actual house from Encanto, Casita. Casita is a character. She emotes, she's sarcastic, she's able to communicate with the characters in the movie. What's great about Casita is she is a house. You can live inside Casita. She'll help you around the house. She'll like be able to like be sarcastic with you. She'll play around. Hey, I need help. Like, I need to do this dance sequence. Can you help me move the floors with me? Absolutely. I'm Casita and I'll do whatever you want me to do. I'm basically your personal AI smart house without any AI, which is beautiful. We love no AI here. What's also great about Casita is she's able to like not just entertain you in like the house aspect of it. She's able to entertain like house guests. She's very accommodating to all sorts of like different characters when they come for Antonio's like party for his like gift ceremony. So Casita for the win all the way.
Time. All right, let's go over to Adelaide. You have 1 minute when you start talking.
When I think of a great roommate, I want someone who I would love if they took care of me personally. I would love to be like a little, like basically not a housewife, but like kind of. But even just at the idea of like, I can come home after a long day of work and I can look forward to somebody who thought of me and was like, oh yeah, it's been a rough day at work. Let me do something nice for you. And I think Julieta, also from Encanto, would be great. Just as a reminder, her power is that she can make really amazing food that will cure literally any ailment you have. Why would I not literally want to, like, any cuts that I have gone, any bruises I have gone? Maybe it also heals you emotionally. Like, that'd be sick as fuck. But beyond, on top of that, her power is that she has no struggles with the rest of the family. We see them like really struggling with their indebted or their servitude to either their family or their community. She has none of those struggles. She loves to support everyone around her. She has a steady source of income curing every ailment. She's never gonna fucking miss rent. You are covered.
Time. All right. 5-minute freeform when one of you starts talking.
Casita will also never miss rent. What?
How do you live with a house? Are you like living
You
together
live in the house.
in a bigger house that also has emotions?
Sure. Doesn't matter. As long as you're in the house, that's fine. I don't care.
How do you talk to the house?
She's always like moving around. Like, it's like, wait, how do I fix the magic? And she goes like it just, you gain like a Chewbacca, like Groot type thing when you like live with the house enough. Plus it's like, you can slide down the stairs. You can do all sorts of things because the house itself is a character who's willing to be there for you. I think the problem with your character, like Julieta's fine and all, but one problem with it is like you just want a mom in your house because like that is her role. Like she's just the mom that'll cook for you, which is like good, I guess, if you want that. But like where's the fun aspect of it? Like you want a roommate who will literally always be there for you. Like literally. You cannot escape Casita, which is a beautiful thing because you'll always have someone. But also, like, Casita will keep your secrets for you because no one else can understand Casita except for you.
I think that saying like, "Oh, I want to live with a mom" is a weird fucking stance to take because there's ways that you can kind of like read into Encanto where your abuelito, I think, your grandfather, is the soul of the house. So
it's not
you
true.
could be living with your grandfather and just fucking have to deal with that. But on top of that, I think the problem of living in a sentient house beyond the fucking monster house of it all, of like you could just piss it off and it could fuck with you. I don't want to like that is beyond the like being like non-consensual. I can't sleep in peace. It could like fucking want to smother me in my sleep and I wouldn't know until I'm already gone. Beyond all of that, you have no privacy. You have nowhere to go and be on your own or be yourself. It is always watching you. The soul of the house is surrounding you wherever you go, and you are its whole life. It can't fucking walk up and have its own thing. It is waiting for you on fucking hand and foot until you get home from work or from school or whatever, and is obsessed with serving you and only you. That obsession, I do not want in my life. I don't fuck with that.
I think you can just get out of that. One great thing about living with Casita is like if you just want to escape Casita, you just leave the house. Like she can't follow you. Like that's what's great about it. First of all, it's not the soul of the grandfather. Like that's been proven a million times that it's just not the soul of the grandfather because they say like he is dead.
We can't do like fanfic. They take into account for this.
No, I think you're doing fanfic. I think that's the point. Like the creators have said like, no, it's just Casita's her own thing. Like it's just not the soul of the grandfather. But if you want to even say that,
it's still a sentient house fucking staring at you while you're showering. Like I don't want that. Grandfather or not, that's fucking
doesn't
weird.
have eyes, so it can't see. But
so how does it know how to shrug with you? How does it know to like emote and play?
Echolocation.
Try to
echolocation.
Oh, cool. I'm living in a bat. I want to hang out in a fucking bat. No, no matter what, it is a haunting experience that you literally can't escape from. I have a person I'm living with who makes fucking awesome food.
Yeah, here's the problem. Listen, I know you're saying like, oh, it's a haunted house. Basically, it's not true because it's like the sweetest house in the world. If you've seen Encanto, you're always going like, oh my gosh, this house rules. The problem with Julieta is, first of all, you can never take a sick day. Like that's just, it's like, don't you live with that lady who like heals everything? No, get back to work. You're not taking a sick day. Second of all,
and then I
like,
eat her food and I don't feel fatigued. It's you just feed the cycle.
That's also not true. What you said about emotional, like that's not true because like Mirabel always has emotional problems, like in terms of like sadness or like depression or something. And like she gives food to her being like, like here's an arepa con queso, like you're gonna be fine. And then she's still super sad. Like that's
she gives it to her to heal a physical injury.
I know,
like,
that's
like
my
there is
point.
a conversation about that.
It doesn't heal any injury. It just it seems to just be physical, which is fine if that's what you want. And like, oh, she'll cook for you, whatever. Listen, I love my mom. It was Mother's Day yesterday. I live with my mom currently. The problem with that is like you're living with your mom, like, and like it's great, but also at the same time, it's like she can smother you a little bit, which is fine sometimes, but also sometimes you're like,
can also smother you. A house that will literally fall apart when it's sad. It could be like having a shit day and you could get crushed under a fucking shingle.
Gosh. Spence, you do not understand the point of Encanto. It's not like, oh, the house is sad, therefore it's breaking apart. It's the family struggles are breaking the house apart. If you get into a fight with your Julieta, the house is falling apart, sure, but I'm the only one living in the house. It's just
She's
me
not
and
my
Casita.
mother. We can get in fights casually. Doesn't fuck with the house. You want to live in the house, and if you have any issues with it, then the house falls apart. You have to treat it as nice as possible. You are living in an abusive, obsessive relationship.
It's not treating the house poorly. It's treating the people you live with poorly. The beautiful thing about it too is it's literally bitter on the inside. It's a TARDIS. It's got TARDIS
badly. You're getting crushed, buddy.
All right, this had one of my all-time favorite quotes. I'm gonna save it for later. But holy shit, that was phenomenal. Adelaide, 1 minute when you start talking.
At the end of the day, I'm pitching living with like the best roommate you could ask for. It is somebody who wants to be there and support you because that is all they care about. Julieta is the only member of the family who doesn't just say fuck off to Bruno and hopes he's dead. She like deeply cares for everyone around her. She will support you. She will be there for you while she also has her own independent source of income. And you're like, damn, I don't feel good. She'll help you out. Whether it's again like giving you food to make you feel good, but also she talks with Mirabel and like gives her the space to like talk and air out her feelings. She is what you want in a roommate. I don't care that she's a mother. She's not my mom, so we're chill. What Javi wants is it's a living, breathing house that has no other residents. It is obsessed with you and singularly you and feeding your every desire. And the second you leave, you go to work or anything, it is thinking about you nonstop. And it watches you while you fucking sleep. If you're sad, you will get crushed to death by a fucking house.
All right, let's go over to Javi. Javi, you have 1 minute when you start talking.
Fucking house, strike it from the record. I know it's silly to be like, oh, like I get it. Like I played into it being like, oh, Casita, like what a dumb, like silly character to choose from. But like genuinely, like rent's freaking tough these days. You just have a house like as a built-in roommate. Like, what's he gonna do about it? What's great about Casita too is Aristotle talks about, and I'm not even joking about this, talks about the idea of the telos. The telos being like, what is your purpose? Casita's house is to be a house. And what's great about it too is not only is she a house, she's the house that will also keep you company. That's what's great about Casita. She will be there for you literally whether you want to or not. And that is a good thing. Like she's an emotional support animal for you. That's just you can live in. She gives you a little like a TARDIS room that you can just do whatever you want in. Like, oh, great, awesome. Like you get a little tree, you get like whatever you want Casita to make you. Casita basically does make for you. And it's beautiful and it's a beautiful house. It makes you sing. It's great.
Oh my goodness. All right. So wow. I think my new favorite Fanzone debate quote is if it can't see, how does it shrug at you and immediately having echolocation? Without missing a beat. That made me
I've actually thought about it a lot.
That made me laugh so hard.
The delivery
It
was so
made me
good,
spit.
too.
You made me spit out my drink more than once.
Oh my god, just the way you said echolocation just immediately had me rolling. Oh,
Once you write down your answers, I'd like to say it's just one quick thing.
oh.
You can't say whether or not you think you lost.
No, I'm not going to say that. Although I think I know where this is going, but I'm not saying it.
If you self-deprecate, the house will crush you in your sleep. Don't forget.
Well, I don't
What
live in
do
that.
you want to
Love
say,
your house.
Javi?
Okay, I just wanted to say Spence took my pick. They went with Julieta, and I was like, fuck. How do I salvage this? And then I went like, oh, Casita. All right, pretty good. I'll take Casita.
All right. This was goofy.
Give Spence the point. It's fine.
I went with Javi.
Fuck up, Javi. Trust yourself.
I went with Javi. I'm shocked. But at the end of the day, we spent a lot of time on that house. And I think Javi dismantled like most of Adelaide's arguments by pointing out stuff in the movie to prove that they were wrong, like about the father and that it's not going to crush you if the house gets sad and stuff like that, that Spence just kept repeating over and over again. I also liked what Javi had to say against Julieta. I like that character too. I think that's a great pick. But I think Javi saying like taking part of Spence's argument of being like, maybe it's emotional, and Javi being like, nope, won't heal the emotions. Fuck you. And just like really pushing that down. It worked for me, but Kirk, as I often ask Brian, am I crazy?
Well, I'll tell you what. I think we're all here doing this because at one point in time we all loved movie fights, and my all-time favorite movie fighter was Mike Carlson.
Yeah.
And I have to say, without a doubt, this is the most Mike Carlson pick and Mike Carlson argument we've ever had. And that makes me very happy. And that's a very positive thing. And I really wish I could have given Javi the point just based on that entertainment value alone. But I did have to go with Spence because there are certain times in an argument where you hear the opening argument, you hear the idea, and immediately my mind goes to this thing. Like, this is the argument I would make, and this is what I need to hear. And Spence nailed it. Like, the lack of privacy, echolocation, traditional site, whatever, there's an entity always watching you. It's the first thing I thought of when Javi brought this up. The fact that the house is kind of dependent on you and your emotions freaks me out a little bit. So the whole thing was creepy to me. Javi almost got me at the end where he said, you just have a house. As a homeowner, just having a house for free is like a really awesome concept. But it just wasn't enough. I feel like I would just Spence enough to freak me out, but with the idea of living in that house. So I also, my favorite quote was, it's an emotional support dog or a emotional support animal that you can live in. Another great. So I think we're going a lot of great pulls from this. So well played, Javi.
Jack, are we going to sudden death or are we done?
We're not.
Look, I think I still think my favorite Fanzone quote of all time is you don't get a Vulcan by or you don't fucking a Vulcan doesn't give you a humpback whale. Although this was also a really great. There were some really great quotes in this one. Tim, I don't think you're crazy, and Javi, I love you. I promise. I love you. I hate. But I went with Adelaide, the matriarch.
Yeah, I didn't know Jack was so racist.
You. No, this. I thought this was a really fun fight. Probably the most fun I've seen in a long time. Adelaide just made so many points that made me go, ooh, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. And all the attacks on Mirabelle's mom fell a little bit flat for me. Like there were some that landed that I agree with Javi on, but a lot of them fell really flat for me. I thought Adelaide kind of just had a lot more ammo to use against Casita than Javi had to use against Adelaide's pick. So For that, I went with Adelaide.
All right, well, that means your winner is Adelaide Spence. Great match. Good stuff. Jack, I want to get final thoughts from you. You hate Javi.
Obviously.
Yes.
No, Javi's a gem. This was a great fight, and honestly, there were two questions there where I can easily see myself any other day voting for Javi. Like questions 2 and 3 were basically coin flips for me. I thought both were excellent. I'm very excited to see what Javi does later on in the season if he's playing again. It's always fun to see him debate. I'm very excited to see what Adelaide can do in this title match. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, Kirk, final thoughts from you.
Yeah, I think Javi played great. I think Javi is a really great up and coming fighter. I could see and debater. I could see the building blocks there for him to really up his game and really bring it together. And I could see him. I mean, he's already in the number one contenders match, but I could see him even good further from this point. And just I think there's just not that he's not already good, but there's a lot of room. I don't want to say room for improvement, but there's enough. He has the fundamentals, and I think there's some easy fixes to really make his game great. So I'm excited to see where he goes moving forward. I'm also very excited for Spence. We said they're going to a title match, right?
Yeah, playing Joe for the title.
Awesome, because I'm so excited about that because Spence, we've talked behind the scenes. I know how seriously they take this game and how much they've wanted to get better and improve and get to this level. I'm very happy to finally see them there and finally see all that hard work pay off. So I think it's going to be a great match. I think Spence and Joe is going to be a really interesting matchup. I don't know. Have they played before?
I don't know off the top of my head.
I believe they have.
Adelaide, if you play Joe, yeah, I'm getting the thumbs up. So yes,
okay.
I'll have to go back and look at how that went.
Okay, but still, I think even now, I think both of them obviously are at a much higher level now and have really upped their game. So seeing how that title match goes is going to be really exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's going to do it for us today at Fanzone Debate. Thank you so much for watching. We're going to have a week off next week, but we'll be back for title match week the following week when we see Adelaide take on Joe for apparently the second time. So I'm looking forward to that. Joe's looking to defend that belt. He won it, the vacant belt, and let's see if he can defend it. But I think Adelaide's going to give Joe a run for his money. So I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for watching. Thank you to the players. Thank you to everybody else who makes the show run. Your Marks, your Bryans, your Knicks. We appreciate you. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Hands, touching hands, reaching out, touching me, touching you, sweet Caroline. Ba, ba, ba.